Yeah, the last time I took a vacation without my kids, I went to New Zealand and came back with them. But it was terrifying. I was terrified to fly over water.
I'll give you a discount.
And the stewardess was like, yeah. And I'm like watching the thing on and she's just like, she kept noticing how nervous I was. And she goes, she's like, are you okay? I was like, well, I'm just trying to, if the plane goes down, I want to know where I need to swim to. She says, oh, honey, if the plane goes down, you're going to die.
Calling this meeting of the Woodland City Council to order. It is Monday, June 17th at 7 o'clock. To ask for you to silence your cell phones and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk will take the roll.
Will. Councilmember Fredericks.
Here.
Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Plaza.
Here.
Councilmember Graham.
Here.
Councilmember Chapman.
Here.
Councilmember Benjamin.
Here.
Councilmember Humbert.
Everybody has been is present with the exception of Councilmember Humbert and Councilmember Rounds. That's it, right? Yep, they're doing math. The chair will accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to excuse the absent council members.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Chapman, seconded by Councilmember Plaza to excuse Councilmember Humbert, Councilmember Rounds. Clerk, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Benjamin.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the absence of the two council members, 4-0. Presentation proclamation. I have a presentation or a proclamation to give for Planners Day, but before we do that, I would like to thank Jennifer Ray Keene and the tremendous amount of work that goes into that. There is a lot to it. It is a 3-day event that takes 4-day, I'm sorry.
4-day, yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a 4-day event that probably takes most of the year to plan, and I know there's a lot that goes into that. It was well done this year, and I appreciate you taking that over and do it. I know Councilmember Graham does a tremendous amount of work as well, and I just wanted to say thank you from the city. There's a lot that goes into that. Also wanted to recognize too the Public Works Department, who also puts a tremendous amount of work into helping out, and also our police department that puts in a lot of effort. There's a lot of planning that goes into making that crowd control, traffic control, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but a big shout out to our police department as well for making it all happen this weekend. So I will read the proclamation. This is from the Office of the Mayor, who is not in attendance this evening. Planners Day, June 13th through 16, 2019. Whereas the residents of the City of Woodland hold an annual community festival since 1922 called Planners Day in celebration of the dikes being built in 1921 to protect the city from flooding. And whereas 3 young women of the community are selected as candidates for Planners Day Queen. And from among the 3 candidates, a queen is selected through a process of academic achievement, volunteerism, participation in Planners Day events, and sale of raffle tickets to reign and preside over the community festival. Now, therefore, I, William A. Finn, not me, Mayor of the City of Woodland, do hereby proclaim that Jade Nosler has been selected Planners Day Queen and is designated Miss Woodland, the official hostess of the City of Woodland, to serve in such capacity until her successor is duly and regularly selected. I do hereby urge all citizens of the community to join me in making the reign of Miss Woodland a joyous and happy occasion. In my witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the seal of the City of Woodland this 17th day of June, 2019. And I will have the mayor sign this upon his return and present that to you so we can get that to Miss Nosler. Okay? I'll get that back to you. Next item on the agenda is citizen communication for items not on the agenda. For items not on the agenda, I have Jennifer Ray Keene.
Thank you. Jennifer Ray Keene, President of Planners Day, and yes, we had a very successful event for our 4 days, and it takes a village to put on the event, and in recognition of that, I wanted to extend a thank you to the city, and especially a couple of departments. You mentioned two of them. Public Works, we would like to present a certificate of appreciation to them. One of the great things this year, and one of the comments we got, was how everything was clean. The garbage was picked up. Everything was really kept up, and that was noticed. And so we just really want to recognize all the hard work and effort that goes in from Public Works to make sure streets are safe, people can walk around and access everything, and feel that their families are safe and being able to attend. Second of all, we would like to recognize and present a certificate of appreciation to the police department. Again, it takes a lot of work to ensure that our ops plan goes off well, that we have no incidences, everything went really well, of like a safe event. And so we appreciate the police department and all their hard work. And third, we'd like to present a certificate of appreciation to the clerk's department. This year, it ran a little bit differently. Jessica and Heather were all over us and did a great job of managing me and making sure all the permits were in. All those permits were required to get in a little sooner this year. We had to get everything in front of you about 2 months before, and so that was a lot of work to get all of that from all of our vendors. We worked with some new vendors and our insurance to make sure everything was done, and just a big thank you to Jessica and Heather and all their hard work. So we appreciate everything the city did, and unfortunately the mayor's not here. I would say a big thank you to him. We had a last minute incident with the fireworks. Boat not big enough to move the barge. And about 30 minutes before the fireworks supposed to go off, we're watching the boat move and the barge not move. And so the mayor made a last minute call to a resident, was able to get a boat out there, and we were able to have a fantastic fireworks show, probably some of the largest crowds I've ever seen. So it was great, and we just really appreciate the partnership and support from the city. So thank you.
Do you mind, could we get pictures of maybe you, maybe Mr. Boyce representing the Public Works Department? Mr. Kelly for the police, and Ms. Anderson for the clerk treasurer's office, and maybe just get a picture for that. That's really nice. Thank you. And I'm glad the mayor was able to make those decisions. That's why he gets paid.
Yeah, he gets paid the big bucks for that.
To make those big decisions.
And he knew
So,
who to call.
Yeah.
I'd have called Dennis and got Gracie out there, the duck.
Mr. President, if I may,
Sure.
let's not forget the fire department.
Yes.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did a fantastic job, and
The barbecue, like every year.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they did a great job setting up the parade and
They did.
taking care of the parade route for us. And they were on the spot. Like,
Yep.
we had a request, or we saw something going on that needed to be addressed, and they were on it right away. So they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm-
you.
We're doing that at their meetings.
I'm sure you are. I just wanted to
We're
make
going to
sure.
be doing the tours and
Okay.
thanking
I just wanted to
everybody.
make sure we got it on the record here. They
Mr.
did a
Randolph,
great job.
you're gonna
Okay,
take
you guys go
photos?
first, and
You
I'll.
gotta be up here.
Well, yeah, but
You gotta be a chief.
I do.
Chief, you know this one.
You sure you can do that?
I think so.
There's a lot of moving parts.
You just can't afford it.
I knew there would be a problem. I knew there'd be a problem having the attorney do it.
So how much this cost us to be a photographer?
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Not in the job description.
So here you go.
Thank you very much.
Are we getting charged
Thank
more
you.
because this is not, this is not.
Thank you, Ms. Keene. Is there anybody else that would like to speak for items that are not on the agenda this evening? No? Next, we have citizen communications for items on the agenda. Ms. Johnson.
Darlene Johnson, P.O. Box 1808, Woodland, Washington. I sent everybody an email. My concern is, well, first off, with several people missing from the city council, I think maybe you would want to withhold or postpone to a meeting where the entire council was here for electing people to the planning commission. I feel like the planning commission is one of our most important commissions that the city has. So, but if that doesn't happen, I would like you to, so if you go ahead and vote on it, I would like you to not vote for Teal Jensen. I wrote a thing on it. If you vote for him, you're really dismissing two other people that have been on the planning commission. I talked to June Jones, and she resigned because he was going to be reappointed, and I called her, and she will bring back her resignation if we do not appoint, if the city council does not appoint Teal. Also, Connie Taylor would have applied for her position again if he hadn't been reappointed. And this had been told to the city and actually to the mayor also. And so I think that with those two things, and then I have been at several of the planning commission meetings, and there's a couple of things they don't, and he very much supports not taking minutes of any degree at the planning commission meetings. They record them. But that assumes that anybody who wants to know what's going on would have the time to listen to a 2 to 4 hour video of what happened. I have testified at the meetings, and pretty much all they said was I was in attendance. They didn't, so they might as well just take attendance of who's there rather than say what they said. If you're in opposition or that, it doesn't have to be, a verbatim of what the people say, but it should at least say whether they're opposed to or supporting what's being considered. And that just didn't happen. Also, with Tell, I noticed that many times he's not as prepared as I would think the chairman would be. And he honestly said, and this is in the memo, he honestly said that he thought high-density residential was urban living, and he wasn't kidding. And the whole audience couldn't believe that they heard that. Well, that is not...
I think you meant to say rural. You said urban.
Oh, yeah, rural. Excuse me, yeah. Thank you. I should have read my comments, but was country living, and the whole audience just looked at each other in amazement that somebody would say that. So I do like, I would like you to not vote for him, but I would like you to vote for Kim, because I noticed just as I got here that she's on the agenda too, and I think she would be a good addition to the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. Is there any member of the group that would like to discuss items that are on the agenda that has not signed up? No? Okay. We are at the point to agenda approval.
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Chapman, seconded by Councilmember Plaza to approve the agenda. Clerk will take the roll.
Councilmember Graham?
Aye.
Councilmember Benjamin? Aye. Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks?
Aye. Motion carries to approve the agenda 5-0. Reports of City Council. Ms. Graham?
It's just been the last couple of weeks since the last council meeting, it's just been filled with attending many Planters Day activities and getting ready for our celebration that we've had for the last 4 days over the weekend. A lot too has been coordinated, and so on and so forth. So I have been to everything that's been on the list. So that about sums that
And
one
I know
up.
there's a lot of it, so I certainly appreciate that.
And I hope everybody comes and enjoys next year's festivities. I told them yesterday that I give them 2 weeks off, and then we start planning for next year. So if
Yeah.
anybody has any ideas, don't cry, Jennifer. I'm sorry. Ideas, come and join our committee. Bring ideas. We had new things going on this year, and some of them we feel very successful. Some of them need a little tweaking for next year because some of them were our first-time events, but we're on a real roll.
Excellent.
And think about, it's only 2 years to the 100th celebration, so plan ahead.
This is, if I'm not mistaken, this is still Washington's longest
Longest
community
running community celebration.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty cool.
100 years.
Very cool. Any
Anyway,
other reports to City Council?
That's all I can
Do you
say.
have anything else, Ms. Graham? I'm sorry I
No,
cut you off there.
I'm mumbling. I'm tired.
No, I have a few things. I'd like to extend a thank you to Sergeant Lip. I had the opportunity to ride with him Saturday for a full shift, basically 2:30 to 1:30, so 11 hours. I was over it at 1:30.
Could do 12.
Yeah. So, but again, I think this is the first time I've done that during Planners Day, and you see what they do. It's not as simple as, I just thought, oh, hey, people come, you're just there, but no, they have a lot of work that they do. They were very visible in the community. At the same time, we had a traffic emphasis, really looking for folks that didn't have their children in their car seats, and the amount of, just the meeting that went into that, preparing that, what to look out for. They had the specialists come in and be able to talk on that, and I was involved in that. It was an excellent thing to see and be a part of, and to see the professionalism that the Woodland Police Department has out there. It's fantastic. So just wanted to extend a thank you for allowing me to do that. And I urge other members of council, if you haven't done that, well, Mr. Plaza, you've done that before on your own. But, I encourage you to, even if it's a half a shift, I know Ms. Johnson has done it before.
It's amazing.
Yes, you really learn a lot about what our officers see out there, and I encourage members of the council to schedule that. So thank you. I wanted to extend a thank you for that.
That's awesome. Glad to hear it.
Also, Planners Day, I wanted to, again, extend the flags downtown. That was so cool. I mean, every few feet there's flags. It was really, really done well, and it's totally small town America is what you see when you see that kind of stuff. And it was really neat to be a part of the community celebration. And I just wanted to say thank you for putting that on, because it's a tremendous amount of hours. So, thank you. No other reports of City Council? No? Okay. Reports of standing committees. I am the chair of the Finance and General Government, but I will defer to Mr. Chapman for our notes from the meeting.
All right, Finance Committee met on June 10th at 5:30. In presence was Mr. Benjamin, myself. Mrs. Rounds is still healing from her surgery and stuff, so she was absent. Miss Anderson was there, and Mary Rip was there, and of course, Mr. Boyce was still over playing in the Italy, so we didn't have Mr. Boyce. And we approved the minutes, me and Mr. Benjamin at
Mr. Fredericks.
Mr. Fredericks, I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
I crosswire you guys all the time. 2-0, so.
So do you.
And on the minutes, so it reports, the 2018 annual finance report filed with SAO, the SAO. We had the May 2019 reports. Utilities, FCS group's timeline will take lots of hours and clerk time. This is going to be a huge thing, operation for them to take care of and do. The WPOA negotiations were held on 5/22. Now, Mr. Boyce is back, so he might give a little farther down the line, a little update on that one. The Teamster negotiation updated clerk's meeting on 6/20. Mr. Boyce might give us a little more of an update on that one. It's coming around the horn. The website quotes, reports, and recommendations from staff are referred to the July Finance Committee meeting. Sewer standby fees, reports from Public Works, depending Ms. Coleman and Mr. Boyce. Impact fees, the summary report Mary's working on at this time. Ordinance 1431, amending school impact fees, report goes to PC on 6/20, then back to Finance Committee on 7/8. Finance fees and cakes will be done with the finance on 7/8. Ordinance 1432, which is amend Ordinance 1396, which allows beer gardens in Horseshoe Lake. We voted on that for a due pass recommendation, sending it with more literature sent to the Finance Committee, or not Finance Committee, sending it to discuss with the council. Lead levy lift, the mayor, we're working with the mayor to find if he's wanting it 2019 or 2020 when we do the levy lead lift. New business, Ordinance 1439, the 2019 budget amendments. Is recommended the due pass recommendation, and we sent that to council. I think that's set tonight.
Which one is that, Mr.?
The 1439? I think it's set for tonight.
Yes, item M.
Yeah, item M, yeah. And then ordinance 1438.
Item L.
Item L, yeah. And then vendors in the park, and RFP. Action item, see, staff to prepare RFP to allow vendors in Horseshoe Lake is what we're working on now. We discussed it to send it to a council for discussion. Meter readers request to increase to contract meter readings. The effective pass to increase the meter readers contract effective 7/1/2001. That should be, I think, sent to tonight's agenda too. On
Yep.
tonight's agenda, so we sent that to council for the due pass recommendation. Old business, a policy, special events, use permits, street closures, block parties, and status updates, timelines are attached, waiting for Public Works. That's a big load and what we got going, so we're trying to work on all that stuff at this time. Ordinance 1211, finance purchasing policies, pending Mr. Boyce and Ms. Rip to review and need to update by mid-2019. CCFR annexation, pending Mr. Boyce doing finance analysis on that one. Tourism promotion area, pending contact motels and hotels. Mr. Boyce and Mayor Finn are working with getting the hotels and motels on board with that one and stuff. And wrapping it up with the upcoming parking lot items with the impact fees and stuff. And we adjourned at 6:11.
Excellent. Any questions for Mr. Chapman? Hearing none, the next meeting of the Finance and General Government is scheduled for July 8th, 2019 at 5:30 at City Hall. Reports of advisory committees. Chamber of Commerce report. Mrs. Graham.
Okay. Last week, we had a presentation by Mr. Goddard, and it's always interesting to hear what he has to say and advising everybody what's going on with the city. So, he always does a good job. Well, very informative. Our chamber luncheons are still at the Grange at 12 o'clock on Tuesdays. It is a brown bag affair. Tomorrow, the speaker is Mr. Richard DeVolt. And our golf tournament is coming up on August the 9th. So teams, baskets, goodies, whatever, come out and have a great day. And if anybody's been driving downtown, we now have a lovely lit reader board sign on our beautiful new archway at the information center. And we are still working on getting the lettering on the crossbeams.
The new sign looks great.
It is. It's been fun getting it up, and it's nice after several years of being involved with that little situation that it's almost done. And it looks great, and I think it's great. It's just a beautiful piece. So for right now, I think that's about all I can think of for chamber.
Okay. Any questions for Mrs. Graham? Reports of city officers. Mayor, he had a Planners Day report. I'm not going to, didn't get a copy of that, so, but did want to state that the Planning Commission vacancy number 1, which is on tonight's agenda, I believe action item C, this term begins June 5th or upon appointment through June 5th of 2025. And then Planning Commission vacancy number 2, which is action item D on the consent agenda. This term begins June 30th, 2019, or upon appointment through June 30th, 2025. Mr. Boyce.
Okay, just wanted to give a quick update on the labor negotiations. So, as Mr. Chapman indicated, Thursday we'll be meeting with the Clerical Union, Teamsters Union. We're hoping we can get everything settled in one meeting. I've talked to their business rep, and things seem pretty positive at this point. The Police Association, last month we had a mediation session to go over the 2 unfair labor practices that were pending. The mediator was very interesting and centered things around the contract instead. And we actually made some meaningful movement, which is encouraging. We're going back and forth via email at this point, but hopefully we can avoid arbitration and get a deal done. So, positive happenstance this last month. The upcoming city and community events, June 19th, Park Board meeting, 4 p.m. This room. June 20th, the Planning Commission meets here at 7 p.m. June 25th through the 28th, I'll be attending the AWC annual conference in Spokane. June 28th and 29th, special event by Promise Church, Horseshoe Lake Park. June 28th, Hot Summer Nights, movies in the park. Excuse me, the movie is Field of Dreams at Horseshoe Lake Park, and the theme is tractors. June 28th, the Rotary Golf Tournament. July, that's all I have.
Is there a maximum age requirement on the bouncy house?
I do not know.
I already tried that in the intermediate school, it didn't work.
It didn't work so well? Okay. Any questions for Mr. Boyce? All right. We are now on the consent items. Does any member of the council wish to pull any item from the consent items?
I'd like to pull
Plaza?
consent item C.
Okay. Any others? Chair will accept a motion.
Move to approve consent items except consent item C, which I would like to pull for discussion.
Second.
It's been moved to approve all consent items with the exception of consent item C. Moved by Councilmember Plaza, seconded by Councilmember Chapman. Clerk will take the roll, please.
Councilmember Benjamin?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks?
Aye.
Councilmember Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Plaza.
In addition to Ms. Johnson's concerns that she voiced tonight, over the last couple weeks, I've been contacted both through email and in person from...
Mr. Plaza, is it would be appropriate before we just started discussion that we actually had a motion on the floor. So if you would like to make a motion, you did not make a motion. Now we have no idea what you're wanting to do.
Oh, I thought we were opening it to discussion.
No, you got to make a motion first before we discuss it.
Okay, then I would like to move that we discuss consent item C prior to putting it up for a vote.
Okay. At this point,
Or even better, just to get right to the chase.
well, that's good. That's
Yeah,
what we're-
I would
that's
like
what
to
we're after.
postpone a vote on consent item C until the full council is present. So I'm making a motion to postpone consent item C's vote for 30 days and extend Mr. Jensen's appointment in his position until the point we have a vote on this.
Got it. So let me read the motion so we're clear on it, because it was a little muddy. The motion that is being stated by Mr. Plaza is, we are extending Mr. Jensen's current term for an additional 30 days, but we are postponing the item until until full council can be present for discussion. Is that
Right,
correct? Okay.
Second that.
It's been moved by Mr. Plaza, seconded by Mrs. Graham, to continue Mr. Jensen's term for an additional 30 days and postpone the item until full council can be here to hear the item. Discussion, Mr. Plaza.
Okay, now get back to where I was.
Now you get to that process.
Okay, just get back to where I was. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been contacted both by email and in person by people who have had concerns with Mr. Jensen's position. I don't know Mr. Jensen, so I don't know the validity of any of the concerns, and it's something that I would like to look into, and I think the council should look into as far as his ability to continue in the position he's in. Also, considering the role, which is a very important role that the Planning Commission has played over the last year and will most unlikely play in the near future, I think it's important that the entire council be here to vote on this before we do. So I would like to have that extended.
Okay. Mrs. Graham?
Pretty much agree with what Mr. Plaza is saying.
Okay. Any other members of council discussion? No? I have no further discussion as well. The clerk will take the roll, please.
Councilmember Graham?
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks?
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Benjamin?
Aye.
It has been voted on 5-0 affirming the motion, which is to extend Mr. Jensen's current commission for an additional 30 days and postpone this until full council can consider the item. Does the council wish to take a break, or do you want to dive into the action items?
Let's go.
We're moving along. Action item H, ordinance number 1432, amending Woodland Municipal Code 9.26, ordinance number 1396, which allows beer gardens in Horseshoe Lake Park. This is the final reading.
Move to approve action item H.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Plaza to approve ordinance number 1432, seconded by Councilmember Chapman. Discussion, Mr. Plaza.
Beer gardens have always, well, as long as I can remember, been allowed during these things, and they've always gone fairly smoothly, so I don't see why there should be a problem in continuing that.
Okay, Mr. Chapman?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. It's just another thing we're trying to open up to bring people to Woodland and make it work. A fun and happening place to have fun at, so.
Excellent. Any further discussion? No? The clerk will take the roll on action item H.
Councilmember Graham?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks?
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Benjamin?
Aye.
Motion to approve ordinance number 1432 passes unanimously. Action item I, authorize staff to prepare an RFP to allow vendors in Horseshoe Lake Park, Phase 1 of the new special events, special use permits, etc.
Move to approve action item I.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Plaza to authorize, it has been moved by Councilmember Benjamin to authorize staff to prepare an RFP to allow vendors in Horseshoe Lake Park, Phase 1, seconded by Councilmember Plaza. Mr. Benjamin.
This has been worked on for a while. It's time to move forward with
Mr. Plaza.
No comment.
Any further discussion? Clerk will take the roll on action item I.
Councilmember Benjamin.
it. Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously to approve action item I, authorizing staff to prepare an RFP to allow vendors in Horseshoe Lake Park. Action item J, ordinance number 1412, zoning text amendment. An amendment to the Woodland Municipal Code Title 17 to adopt a Woodland Municipal Code 17.71.195 wireless communication facilities. Final reading.
Move to approve action item J.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Plaza, seconded by Councilmember Chapman to approve ordinance number 1412. Mr. Plaza.
Since final reading, we've addressed this a couple of times, and any kinks that were in it, we've worked them out, so it's time to pass it.
Okay, Mr. Chapman.
I concur.
Any further discussion? Clerk will take the roll on action item J.
Councilmember Benjamin.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Motion to, or actually, the motion has been approved to approve ordinance number 1412 unanimously. Action item K, ordinance number 1437 to amend Woodland Municipal Code to allow occupancy of RVs in RV parks to go from 30 to 90 days. This is the first reading.
Move to approve action item K.
Second.
It's been moved to approve action item K, ordinance number 1437 by Councilmember Plaza, seconded by Councilmember Chapman. Discussion, Mr. Plaza?
No comment at this time.
Mr. Chapman?
No comment.
Any further discussion? Clerk will take the roll, please.
Councilmember Benjamin.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye. Motion to approve, or actually, it has been, the motion has been approved for the first reading of ordinance number 1437 unanimously. Action item L, ordinance number 1438, 2019 budget amendments, first and final reading.
Move to approve action item L.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Chapman, seconded by Councilmember Benjamin to approve ordinance number 1438, 2019 budget amendments. Discussions, Mr. Chapman.
Yeah, we discussed in the finance committee, moved it forward, it passed and stuff, so it's kind of point blank and needs to be done, so.
Mr. Benjamin?
If the finance committee says it's a good idea, then we should move forward.
Any further discussion? Clerk will take the roll on action item L, ordinance number 1438.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Benjamin.
Aye.
Motion to approve ordinance number 1438 has passed unanimously. Action item M, ordinance number 1439 to close Fund 300 Park Acquisition Improvement Fund. This will be a first and final reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been motioned by Councilmember Plaza, seconded by Councilmember Chapman to approve ordinance number 1439. Discussion, Mr. Plaza.
Yeah, from what I understand from reading this, is that basically a debt fund at this point. All the money's been moved to a different fund, so there's really no point to having it anymore, so time to close it down.
Yeah. Mr. Chapman?
I agree.
Any further discussion? Clerk, take the roll on action item M, ordinance number 1439.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Benjamin.
Aye.
Motion to approve ordinance number 1439 has passed unanimously. Action item N, Public Works. Bid award to Matt Reichel for Pacific Avenue sidewalks.
Move to approve action item M.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Chapman, seconded by Councilmember Graham to authorize bid award to Matt Reichel for Pacific Avenue sidewalks. Councilmember Chapman.
I No comment. That's all we have people position, taking bids and look at them and award them properly, so I don't see why we should question why they picked this individual, so.
Okay. Councilmember Graham.
Yeah, after reading the paperwork, I mean, it's all been approved by the engineers and whatnot, that it's a good bid and the work will be done properly, so.
Excellent. Any further discussion from council?
This is for sidewalks that are due to a grant. We have a grant to do these sidewalks, and so we're proceeding forward, and that's what this is about.
On N, does that include a portion of the grants? Is there grant money on N? I know there is on O, but not sure about N.
No on N.
No grants.
It would seem to me that the reason that we're doing them to coincide with the grant is because you're already doing that, and it probably makes more sense to do it while you're doing it somewhere else.
It does.
Okay, I figured. Okay. Any further discussion on N? Clerk will take the roll on action item N.
Councilmember Benjamin.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Motion to authorize bid award to Matt Reichel for Pacific Avenue Sidewalk passes unanimously. Action item O, bid award to Matt Reichel for CDBG project for sidewalks ADA improvements.
Move to go to action item O.
Second that.
It's been moved by Councilmember Chapman, seconded by Councilmember Graham, to award the bid to Matt Reichel for CDBG project for sidewalks and ADA improvements. Councilmember Chapman.
No comment.
Councilmember Graham.
Really no comment either, other than, it's still the engineer's approval and it is involved with the grant money too, so needs to be taken care of.
Any further discussion? I know Miss Coleman's not here tonight, but thank you for this. It makes a huge impact when we have sidewalks that work.
It does.
All right. No further discussion. The clerk will take the roll on action item O.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Benjamin.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Bid award to Matt Reichel for CDBG project for sidewalks passes unanimously. Is there any further business to bring before this body? Hearing none, the chair will accept a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to adjourn at 7:38. Thank you, council.
I always get that.